It's Friday, and it's time for some AMA action in the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Do not adjust your computers or your television sets or your phones. Hello again, everyone. It's been a while. I am Gary Gotzo. I am back, and I am in for a vacationing Mark Murphy. And I welcome all of you to P1's broadcasting presentation of the Premier Racing Division of the American Motorsports Association, Round 5 of Season 4 of the 2026 Archway Industrial Truck Series, coming to you from the Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina for the second running of the Outland Customs Arms 200. Even though Mark is on vacation and I'm coming off the bench, we still have one half of the P1's Bash Brothers present. He is our QB1 when it comes to driver analyst, representing Team I5G in the iRacing IndyCar community, and champion of the Sim Gaming Expo's Gomez Sim Industries Open Wheel Invitational is the one and only Freebird, Caleb Brashear, who will be my hero tonight as Rockingham. To me, fenders and double file restarts are about as foreign to me as hybrid-powered weight jackers and engine mapping to some of these drivers here tonight. So welcome, Caleb. As Princess Leia said, you are my only hope.
Well, thank you, but yeah, it should be a fun one tonight. It should be a good one. We got a pretty stacked field here tonight. Peyton Howe is your fastest setter in practice, 22.694 at the top of the charts, but it should be a very good one here tonight at Rockingham. We will have to worry about tire saving. We will have to save a little bit of fuel along there as well. It should be a very entertaining race. We got a very entertaining race last night in the Grand National Series. Sam Crow was your winner there. He currently is down back with a 22.996 in practice. Puts him in the 7th place spots. But one thing that I do notice, and will set each other apart from the rest, is that he was very good on tire saving, and I guarantee you, even with the lower horsepower in these trucks that compared to the Grand National cars, these trucks have a lot of grip, but they still have to worry about saving tires over the course of this race. So that's the one thing we got to worry about here, Gary, with the tire save here at Rockingham. They will shred them, they will scrub the tires a lot, and it's pretty much whoever is going to win this race is going to be whoever manages their tires the best.
The broadcast messiah, Sam Crow. Good to have him back. Seeing him in the car. Well, I know we don't talk about it a lot in other broadcasts that Murph might do, but one of the things I always pay attention to and try to keep people updated on are the point situation. And here is the points coming into today's race. Again, I'm not very familiar with these names, and I'll let you kind of talk about the point situation. Of course, we're going to have playoffs here at the end of the season, so there's going to be a cutoff line. But these guys are all jockeying for position right now within the top 10. I believe the Truck Series, you said, is a different number that's going to make the playoffs, so there's going to be a cutoff line here somewhere. But Peyton Howe currently leads by 58 points. That's a pretty big lead. That's about a race and a 10th lead that he has over everyone. Logan Edwards, your teammate in the IndyCar Series, is second. Matt Sisler third. Valdez in fourth. And Austin Hund in 5. Ryan O'Donohue, I know about him. He is back in 6th. Nicholson is 7th. Witt 8th. Sweeney 9th. And Otterman in 10th. Talk about the point situation. I mean, it's still early, and there's a lot can still happen between now and the cutoff point when the playoffs or the championship run really starts for these guys. But you talked about this in the pre-race with me. It's Peyton Howe's kind of setting the pace without any dubs to his name yet.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is that he's been dominating these races for the first 4 rounds, but he hasn't been able to capitalize yet on the season so far. He's had a couple wins in the Grand National Series, winning 2 races there, but he hasn't been able to capitalize on the Truck Series here. We saw him be very dominant at the Roval and Darlington, and those races kind of slipped away from him at the very end there. So he's looking to capitalize on that. He is the fastest in practice. He's actually the only driver that was able to go into 22.6s, and he's actually starting his Q run now. We'll see what he's able to do, if he's able to get pole position here. He has a number of pole positions already on the season. He actually has 3 already in just 4 rounds, so we'll see if he's able to make it number 4 on the season here.
Tonight's rule set for the event. This is a fixed setup race. It's been remeasured. So I've known this track forever and a day as 1.017 miles. iRacing has now remeasured and is now presenting the track at 0.94 miles. So that's actually what we're going to be racing on 0.94 mile racetrack here tonight, instead of a 107 or a 1017 or a 1. Now, we've seen over the last couple years since NASCAR has returned here that they've actually reclassified the track as a 1 mile oval, so they've even changed their measurement. But this is a 0.94 high bank D-shaped oval. The Craftsman Truck Series measured it at 1 mile. The Cup Series, when they were here between 69 and 2004, measured it at 1.017. We're doing 200 laps, officially 188 iRacing miles, but we will be doing 200 NASCAR truck miles if you want to take that into account. No fast repairs. I'm not very familiar with the green-white checkers. Not a big fan of them either, but we got unlimited green-white checkers here tonight. 4 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 3 in the pits, 40 mile per hour pit road speed limit. We think a stint, although fuel is less of an issue more than what we think tires are going to be. A stint is about 110 laps, but they'll probably be coming to pit road sooner because of the tire deg and the tire degradation and the wear off before they ever really need fuel. And the last time we were here was round 7 a year ago. Mike George beat Ryan O'Donohue by 0.3 of a second. Paul Witt finished third. 26 cars started, 9 cars finished on the lead lap. They had 11 cautions for 14 laps. 1:10 left to play here in qualifying. And do you see any trends now that are sticking out to you as something we might want to pay attention to as we get to the starting lineup?
Well, it's the old combo of Peyton Howe and pole position here in the Truck Series, and really the AMA in general. And we got a familiar face right beside him, Ryan O'Donohue is second, and those lap times are very close together between the top 3 of Peyton Howe, Ryan O'Donohue, and Julian Valdez, who is Peyton Howe's teammate. Kendall Paul, who finished third in last night's race of the Grand National race here at Rockingham, is going to line up in he's going to line up at 5th. Logan Edwards, my teammate, is going to line up at 4th. So a very close together top 5. Last night's winner, Sam Crow, is going to start off at 6th. But one thing that is going to be a trend is, starting positions are nice, but you got to worry about your tires here. That's going to be the most important thing here around Rockingham. We saw it very nicely done by Sam Crow last night. We saw throughout the entire duration of the race, he was saving tires the best of the rest of them. And at the very end of the race, he got the lead early on in that on the restart during the 3rd stage. And he was able to keep out in front, just set the pace, and able to just save tires. And that's the reason he won last night. He starts in 6th place spot. That'd be the car I would look out for, at least maybe not right now, but towards the end of the race. We start getting longer and longer into this. That's the driver I would look out for to be in the front of this field.
Tonight's pole award goes to Peyton Howe, and that is sponsored by Sim Shop, built by racers for racers. Sim Shop delivers high-end simulation equipment designed to create true-to-life driving experience. Whether you're a pro or just getting started, Sim Shop helps drivers refine their skills and push for faster laps. Visit simshop.com, and remember, just keep driving. All the links you need are in the description. Let's get to tonight's starting lineup, and I'm not sure how Murph does it with you. Would you like to call out tonight's starting lineup?
I would. I could take a shot at it.
Go ahead.
Peyton Howe lines up in your pole, so to his outside. Ryan O'Donohue is going to line up in 2nd place. Julian Valdez, Logan Edwards is going to line up on row number 2. Kendall Paul, Sam Crow. Your winner and 3rd place finisher last night are going to line up in row number 3. Chuck Sweetie, who got stage number 1 and 2 wins last year here at the Rock in the Truck Series. He's going to line up in the 7th place position. Paul Witt is outside. Nathan Palaloda is going to line up in the 9th place position. Louis Hayes is to his outside. James Hodgson, Joshua Andrews, row number 6. Matt Silzer, Daniel Meadows, row number 7. Ted Craven, Alan Steigerwalt in row number 8. John Hutchins, John Songer in row number 9. Brian Sharp, John Roberts starting a little bit towards further back in the field in row number 10.
You're doing it. You got him straight.
Yeah, I'm getting there, Gary. This is the first time I've ever done it. Don Van Ostren and Mason Mueller is going to start up in the 11th row. Matt Wagner, Good to see him around. Matt Wagner's going to line up in 23rd. David Dunwoody to his outside. Jeremy Dunwoody, not by no relation, is going to line up in 25th. Randy Dunlap to his outside 26th. And at the rear of the field, Barry Seaman in 27th spot.
Here's your weather update before we go green. Green flag is out here for the Outland Custom Arms 200 here at the Rock. And off in the one, it is Howell, O'Donohue, Dunlap, Valdez, and, well, we need to resort them here. Here we go. Howell, Valdez, O'Donohue, Edwards, and Paul.
Yeah, Peyton Howell, as he's done so many times. And we got a spinner off turn 4. They are on the apron, though, so no caution, at least of yet. But as I was saying, Peyton Howell, as he did so many times earlier this season with his teammate right behind him, Julian Valdez, is shooting out to the lead. They have about a 4 to 5 truck length advantage over Ryan O'Donohue, who finished second in last night's race. He finished third in last night's race. Logan Edwards in 4th. He actually got second at Darlington last week, took a bit of a gamble, take a 2-tire stop on a green-white checkered situation, was able to hold on to second. He's in the 4th place spot. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul, who had a very strong running last night, is sitting back in 5th. One of those big tire savers that I talked about earlier, Sam Crow, another tire saver, is in 6th. So right now, and we saw this last night, they are fairly single file, and you'll see that because a lot of these drivers, especially if they did last night's race, know how important the tires are. Now, they don't have to go 60 laps. That's the stage length of what we did last night. They only have to go 45, so they're able to push a little bit harder on these tires, but still something that they need to keep in mind here, Gary.
And that was Chuck Sweeting that spun out on the first lap, grabbed a little too much of the apron, and as we like to say in our IndyCar broadcast, apron bad. So he is back underway, but falls to the rear end of the order. Paul Witt, watching this battle between Witt, Pelota, and Sam Crow, as Sam Crow is losing some spots here. But you talked about it with Sam Crow. He might be driving more to a pace and less having problems out there.
That's 100% the case scenario. And, we saw that, honestly, with Greg Evans last night in the Grand Nationals Series race. He actually lined up on, in first place on every single restart at the beginning of each stage, and he would immediately drop back to like 5th or 6th on those restarts because he knew that the tires were going to be important to try and save here. And we saw that with Sam Crow. Sam Crow, towards those end of the stages, was making a lot of time. So he's actually back in the 9th place position, but he's thinking in the back of his mind, okay, just keep it nice, steady pace here. No reason to push this hard this early. We got a lot of track in front of us. Let's just keep the tires underneath the car or the truck at the moment.
I think we just had a DC of a driver. Joshua Andrews has retired now to the pits. Now he's back in the lineup. So he is having DC issues out there. There are some thunderstorms going through, some severe storms actually through the Midwest. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Kendall Paul would rather be out storm chasing, but right now he's chasing a bit of a storm in front of him with the top 6 as he's currently in 7th spot. Kind of losing a little bit of a gap. The top 2 pulled away, and then the middle 3 are now kind of in a bit of a group by themselves as Kendall tries to reel in that middle group in the top 10.
Yeah, Kendall he's been very patient so far in the AMA, both trucks and National Series. He's very patient with how he races, so he's going to be, he's not going to be overly aggressive, especially in the early stages. He's going to bide his time and try to take as many positions as he can progressively throughout the race. So he's pushing right now, but he's not going to be overly aggressive, and that's honestly, he's gotten a win at Darlington. That's how he won at Darlington a couple weeks ago, was him being patient and just making sure he kept his nose clean there.
Riding with your teammate, Logan Edwards. Ryan's presenting at least a little bit of the racetrack to the bottom of the racetrack there to Logan, allowing a little bit of air on the front bumper, but not able to quite get the run. This is a battle for 3rd. Ryan O'Donoghue, Logan Edwards. Logan, your teammates, he's in a Half-Life car. Or truck. I'm going to say car a lot tonight. Just, it's old habits die hard.
Oh, I did the same thing when I started this series, and now I'm trying to get the term of truck length instead of car length into my vocabulary here, Gary. But Logan Edwards, he's switched up the livery. Obviously, he joined a new team with Team I5G on the IndyCar Series. And, of course, with them being an IndyCar team, not really a multi-series team, well, he doesn't really have I5G really doesn't have any Truck Series livery, so he rolled back to the old livery of the Half-Life livery that he's rocked a couple years ago, and when he got that podium at the Roval and the at Darlington, everybody's like, that is one of the coolest things they've ever seen, was seeing a Half-Life car on the podium, and he's still rocking it. He's in the 4th place position. He's dropped a little bit to Ryan O'Donoghue, but he is doing very well early on in this race here.
Now, my last race here. Now, I have not done an awful lot of races here at Rockingham. This is my 5th Rockingham race I have ever streamed, with about 500 races under my belt. This is about the 5th time. This is the 4th on this channel. 2 of those were an IndyCar Oval Series event. One was a 125 lap Season 2 race from the ISRA Truck Series back from October of 2024. Prior to that was a Revolution Racing League Schaefer IndyCar Series back in June of 2022 here. So I don't have a lot of experience here, but I can say that I know some people with experience, because the last race that I did here back in Season 4 2025, Round 7, Week 7 of the IndyCar Oval Series season in October of 2025. We had a 4.2 K strength of field that night. We did 85 laps. Tony Bizzarro won that race over Seb Alexander by 25 thousandths of a second. Do you happen to remember who finished 3rd in that race?
No recollection there, Gary. Absolutely zero, right?
Do you? You sure?
To be jokingly, that's actually where I got my 2nd ever. And it came the week after I got my first ever win in the Oval, actually just in P1 broadcasting in general. That's my first ever win I got at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I followed up with another podium at Rockingham. So then I go on a bit of a roll. I went Phoenix 2 weeks later. I was like, that was a good stretch of weeks I had. But yeah, last time you broadcasted, or we actually broadcasted Rockingham just in general on this channel, we got, I ended up getting 3rd on the podium. Probably could have gotten a win if I decided not to wheel spin the tires immediately on the restart.
That's right. Caleb Brashear started 5th, finished 3rd, 0.2 of a second back. 25 cars started. 18 finished on the lead lap. A much shorter race. 4 cautions for 12 laps than what we're seeing tonight. Of course, we're doing 200 laps. That was 85 laps for that race. But to give you an idea, I put up on the screen after 20 laps and with the tires kind of wearing out now. They're pretty well past their prime in this stint here. 100 and I'll actually bring up the purple lap. There it is, the purple lap. Peyton Howe, 146.7. Do you want to take a guess at what the pole speed was? Tony Bizzarro won the pole in that event. It was a 17.87 second lap. Here's what we're doing in terms of time here for our laps. There it is. We are doing up. That's not right. There's the fastest lap time-wise. Still not right. Can't get it right now. Okay, so we are doing, according to ATVO in the timing screen, we are doing laps in 24. So we're 7 seconds slower than an IndyCar. You want to take a gander of what the IndyCar speed was if you measured it on a 1 mile oval?
I think it would have been around 190, 195 miles an hour for a queue time. If I'm not mistaken, that's what the speeds we were doing back then was.
Yeah, on the if you use a .94 distance, it would have been 189.1. If you use the 1 mile distance, it goes up to 201.2, a 201 mile per hour lap here in an IndyCar at the Rock. And that was thankfully the newer version, which was the smoother of the 2 versions.
Yeah, and honestly, it's smoother. But by definition alone, this track is still very bumpy, Gary. And you feel that in these big bulky stock cars. You feel it in the IndyCar as well, but you feel the bumps going through those corners, and it's a bit rough out there.
And there's someone else checking in the chat that knows a little bit about this racetrack, and we talked about it one of my previous streams, the ISRA Truck Series. Justin Kirby, he's in chat, and he won that race. So he has. We have now you in the box here with me, a podium finish and a winner in chat. So I should be asking you guys all the questions about Rockingham.
Yeah, and Rockingham, it's a unique track. Is that we got a spinner on the backstretch, hard into the wall.
Ostrand, Van Ostrand. No caution though, but he is missing his left front quarter.
Oh, right in front of the leaders, back onto the racing line. He chooses to come down pit lane, but he does rejoin right in front of our leaders. And that's another thing we got to consider with these leaders here. They are hitting lap traffic right now. And they're, it's kind of ebb and flow. You kind of like a multi-class series. You got to pick when to overtake at the right time. And we still got a car, so that's still Van Ostrand.
He's low on the racetrack right now. That truck's definitely need to come to pit road and get some repairs, but that does pack up the leaders a little bit. Valdez creeps into Howell a little bit, and we're under caution.
Oh, caution. Wreck on the backstretch.
It is Chuck Sweeting again. Bad day goes worse for the pink foil car truck. And we'll see what happens with the admin box. And that is convenient timing because this caution is sponsored by Admin Box. Take a look at the action going through turns 1 and 2. In a battle with the 50 there. That is Mueller. And it just looks like they do a little arrow wash up to the wall there and then bounce off one another to the backstretch. Into the inside wall, the old backstretch pit road. And the 125, that's Brian Sharp, also involved. That's what happened there. The caution is brought to you by Admin Box. Race control, the touch of a button. To learn more, click on their link in the description. Have any takers on pit road? It looks like the leaders are going to stay out for that track position.
Yeah, and that's one thing. We do have a limited number of tire sets here in the AMA. We actually only have 3 sets of tires over the wall, 4 in total. And basically, the strategy is going to be you take one at the end of stage number 1, you take one at the end of stage number 2, and then you're going to probably pit around somewhere in the middle of stage number 3, probably when the caution comes out. But that basically is the strategy out here. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody chooses to not take tires on that first stage and hopes for a very quick caution afterwards to try to save a set of tires. That is something that we thought was going to happen in the Grand National Series last night. It did not happen for any of those drivers, but it would surprise me if we see it with the shorter race distance if somebody chooses not to pit for tires at the end of stage number 1, which is going to be in about 15 laps time.
If you enjoy P1's coverage of the American Motorsports Association, Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Under caution here at lap 30 of 200. Your biggest mover of the race right now is John Hauschkins. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He's up 7 spots. And David Dunwoody, who started in the rear of the field, he's up 10. Randy Dunlop up 9. So we got some movers out there that definitely used those tires up a little bit extra on that stint to get some track position. Now we're under caution. They go through a heat cycle. Let's see if they get a little bit better position. We're going to go to something different for me. We don't do double file restarts at all in IndyCar. There was a small experiment IndyCar had with them back in about 2011 or so, and they abandoned that, which I guess kind of works out anyways. But everybody goes double file here. Leader goes to the inside. Second place goes to the outside. And we're getting ready to go green here at lap 32. Truck is off. Field under the control of our leader once again into the restart zone. Here we go. Green flag back out here at the Outland Custom Arms 200 at the Rock.
Yeah, Payton shoots out to the lead. Julian Valdez, his teammate right behind. Logan Edwards on the high side. Tried to make it work. Barely touches the wall here. You see quite a number of cars.
Whoa! Thought about taking a 3 wide there.
Yeah, a lot of trucks getting really dicey early on in this restart. Logan Edwards actually dropped back a bit. He slots himself what's going to be a battle for the 5th and 6th place spot. He's still side by side. That is with Matt Sizzler in the 5th place spot. Then they're going to go 3 wide in the corner.
3 wide. He has a run. Sizzler gets back in line, says, I'm not taking a 3 wide. And we go through the corner 2 wide. So that was a discretion is a better part of valor on that particular move.
And the guy that forced it 3 wide was actually Kendall Pond. I said earlier, usually he's very patient with these things. Clearly, he's gone against that a little bit. He's still side by side for a battle of the 6th place spot with Matt Sizzler. Sizzler still on that high side. They're still side by side. They've been side by side for
sliding up
a lap and a half now.
Sizzler and Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul wants to get this race over with as quickly as possible. He's got some storm chasing to watch tonight.
Yeah, he's got a bit of storm chasing, and he's finally able to clear Matt Sizzler. We'll see if Sizzler makes a move. No, Kendall Paul is able to keep that 6th place spot there, and that allows James Hodgson and Paul Witt to close right up to him.
Back to single file. It is Hal, Valdez, O'Donoghue, your top 3. Pelota in 4th, Logan Edwards in 5th. We continue to watch this battle with Kendall Paul and Sizzler. Just behind Sizzler, it's Hodgson. And say hey, Lewis Hayes taking a stab to the inside of the 72. Can't quite get the pass finish there. And we're starting to see with these older tires now, the higher line starting to come in as with the new tires, the OP line is down low, but as the tires start to wear, the high line with the momentum becomes the OP line. Oh, car in the wall in front of it. Here comes, say hey, Lewis Hayes to the inside. To the 72, gets into the wall down the backstretch, and that is going to allow, say hey, Lewis Hayes to clear the 72 and move up a position. Hayes down to 13th.
Yeah, say Lewis Hayes didn't have the best night last night in the Grand National Series. He was running very strong early on, but got himself caught up in an incident about, I want to say it was the end of stage number 1. And unfortunately, just went a couple laps down and was never able to regain that. So he's on the charge forward at the forward. He started in 10th, dropped back a little bit, but finds him back up in 13th. So we'll see what he's able to do towards the end of stage number 1, about 5 or 6 laps next time by.
Riding with Logan Edwards again. Get to watch his telemetry as he is all over O'Donoghue. He's going to take a stab to the inside at the start-finish line, going into 1. Bumper to bumper, and O'Donoghue backs off and wisely lets Logan go on by.
Yeah, Logan was actually about 3/10 of a lap faster than O'Donoghue last time by, and that just goes to show. And he's actually faster than Lears at the moment. He might be able to catch him if he's able to get some good laps here at the end of stage number 1. He's actually about 2/10 faster last time by.
Continuing to watch from the cockpit of Ryan O'Donoghue. As a lot of the battles on the racetrack have kind of stabilized. Most everyone in single file. There's a battle a little bit further back. Side-by-side action at the 88 and the 93. They begin to wonder, though, that now they can see the end of this stage, maybe just get in line and wait it out and come to pit road and throw on a new set of tires into the stage. Whoa, there they go. Almost in the back, bouncing off each other.
Yeah, very good battle for the 7th place spot here. Matt Sizzler and James Hodgson have been going. They have been side by side for about 4 or 5 laps here ever since this restart. A little bit further behind them, that is Alan Stierwald and Sam Crow going side by side. Sam Crow, the winner last night in the Grand National Series. Matt, we will say fairly good at tire saving, and he's progressively moved his self up a little bit up towards the field, but he has dropped back from the 6th place starting spot here.
Again, just running to a pace. Always more to the story, as we got a lot of smoke on the backstretch. We might have had someone smack the wall off the backstretch and not bring out a caution. A lot of smoke back there, but Sam Crow running to a pace, not necessarily having a problem, but he realizes if he backs off a little bit in these corners, he'll save those tires, and they'll be a little bit more better for him at the end of this run while everyone else is scrubbing him out. But being this so close to the end of a stage break, it might just be time to start using those tires up as we see two drivers side by side. Here is Witt and Dunwoody. Caution.
And that's actually right at the end of the stage,
yep.
Right when Peyton Howe crossed the line. So
I believe that might be. Oh, no, there is John Songer on the backstretch of the inside wall. I thought that might have been the stage caution.
I just took a look at a replay. John Songer, 2 separate incidents there.
And we're watching Songer. He is in the 08 there, this black truck here in the top of your screen right there. And there's a truck in front of him gets loose, and that kind of checks everybody up. And he just kind of runs into it. The 38 T-bones, the truck that originally started that. I'm not sure who that was. The 33 maybe? And then the 99 just runs into it as well. So just everybody kind of arc-a-breaking it back there.
I believe that was Dunwoody, Jeremy Dunwoody. Oh, right in front of our leader. I was looking on pit road. Peyton Howe nearly had Brian Sharp, or not Brian Sharp. I can't make out who that is. That is Randy Dunlap. Nearly hit him in pit road, but
yep, here's
that was
more.
Very, very for a leader.
Yeah, here's more of what's going on in the backstretch. And the 99, pow, right into it. The 33 is involved in that one as well. That's Sean Roberts. But we're going to do pit stops here. Everyone's going to go in for those fresh set of, I almost said Firestones, fresh set of good years.
Good years.
It's been a while since we've had good years on Indy cars. We need to have them back.
I personally love the Firestones that we got now. Goodyear, I think they got the NASCAR series pretty figured out at the moment. What I truly would want are the Hoosiers to come back. I would love me some Hoosier tires back on these big bulky stock cars, but not NASCAR at the moment. I think they got Goodyear pretty much just signed away. So I love me some Hoosier though.
Goodyear's last year in IndyCar was 98, I believe, and it's been Firestone since then. There was a small tire war battle in IndyCar between Firestone and Goodyear in the 90s, right around the split time. But if you're familiar with the last tire war in stock cars, that was back when Hoosier was here in the series, and that was the mid-90s. As now the field begins to reform for the restart, and this would be the start of stage 2, right?
Yes. This would be the start of stage number 2. Caution came out right when Payne out crossed the start-finish line. So basically, it's a stage caution, even though we did have an incident there.
Tonight's first stage break is brought to you by Track Racer. Support the series by using the promo link in the description, and 5% of your order goes directly to the AMA prize pool. Just copy and paste the link, and you're all set. That is Track Racer. It is in the description, and I want to thank them for sponsoring stage 1 of tonight as we begin stage 2 here at The Rock.
Yeah, Payne Howe, once as he's done this entire season, has jumped his teammate Julian Valdez, Logan Edwards in third. And I do want to point out, Ryan O'Donoghue did not get a good pit stop under that stage caution. He slots himself back into the 5th place position, started 6th on the restart. So he's going to have some time and some work to do to try to get back up to that 3rd to 4th place positions.
The last caution is again brought to you by Admin Box. Race control at the touch of a button. To learn more, click on their link in the description. Lap 50 of 200. I've survived a quarter of the race.
You're almost there. You're almost there.
And I got to survive for another week at Bristol next week. Murph is wanting to kill me.
A little bit. He conveniently chooses to go on vacation at Bristol weekends. I don't know why, but there's something there, I think.
I know. 31 loose off the corner. Actually, that is a 3, I believe. He caught it.
Yeah, it's Daniel Meadows.
Very loose. But he gets it back under control. Maybe a case of tires not quite up to temp. And again, I might be talking out of my IndyCar side of the mouth there, but there are your track temperature, 88 degrees on the track temp. Not extremely high, 78 on the ambient.
Actually, a very, very cold Rockingham, actually. Yesterday, we were about 120 degree track temp, so that's just going to favor a little bit more to who can push the tires. You were able to push the tires a little bit hotter, or a little bit harder, with the cooler track temps, and with the trucks just being slightly slower and being a little bit lighter than very natural car. So with the conditions we have, tire saving is definitely still important here, but it's still something that they need to keep in mind. The Goodyear, you did mention like the tires gotta come up the temp. The tires in the stock cars don't really work the same way as the Indy car. They, they're kind of like right when they come out of the box, that's when they're best, and it just gets progressively worse from there. So typically, the first lap is always the fastest, and then it just all goes downhill from there.
A battle here between Lewis Hayes and Houchkins. This is a 12th and 13th. And Lewis Hayes pulls away from that battle, now leads that group. Back up front is Peyton Howe, who has pretty much led them all to this point. Valdez in second, Polwoda in third, in the green, Dayglow green and black truck. Logan Edwards with Ryan O'Donoghue right behind him in his tire tracks, not letting him escape any. As your top 5, Kendall Paul in 6th, Hodgkin in 7th. Sisler 8th, Sam Crow, the racing messiah and our broadcast messiah, he's in 9th, and Paul Witt is in 10th. Remember, Paul finished 3rd here a year ago in that race. Ryan O'Donoghue finished 2nd, our defending winner from a season ago, not in the lineup. So we're looking at a new winner here at the Rock, whoever that might be here at the conclusion of another 150 laps or so.
Yeah, Peyton Howe currently leads them. He hasn't, we talked about this earlier, he hasn't won on the season, but he currently has over a race lead over everybody else. His teammate behind, Julian Valdez, has 2 wins on the season. He won Atlanta and Darlington. The only other 2 winners was Raul Avis and Nathan Nicholson. Raul Avis winning Daytona, Nathan Nicholson winning the Roval. So we will, unless Julian Valdez, because Nathan Nicholson and Raul Avis are not in the field here tonight, unless Julian Valdez gets a win, we will see a new winner on the season as well.
Little parity in the league. Always good to see. Valdez in 2nd, 2 wins this season. And unlike in the past when a win guaranteed you a spot in the playoffs, not the case. You need to finish within a certain range in the points in order to make the playoffs now. They're going to mirror what they do in the real sanctioning body. Top 3 starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan O'Donoghue, Logan Edwards are doing about a 23.8, 23.7 lap time. Leaders right now are also doing 23.7s, but a couple laps ago, they were doing 23.4s. So they are starting to fall off the pace. Meanwhile, the guys in 4th and 5th and the rest of the field behind them are just keeping a nice, steady pace at the moment, trying to manage their tires here in stage number 2.
Again, watching this battle, closest battle in the top 10 right now. Actually, let's go back. Sam Crow passing the 88, moving Sam Crow up a spot as he clears him. Not quite, going into 3. 88 on the high side, still has enough of the bumper there to make things closer than he wants to. Sam Crow clears him and gets the position move Sam Crow up to 8th. One of Sam Crow's good buddies, Mike Rigney, checking in chat under the ISRA Racing Series. We shouted him out a couple times today. That was one of my last Rockingham races I've actually broadcasted. as someone that primarily broadcasts IndyCar races, Rockingham's not one of those racetracks that I really need. If I didn't need to buy it, I probably wouldn't have it.
Yeah, I honestly am the same way. A lot of the tracks I bought in iRacing that I didn't already own were, if I didn't have it for the IndyCar, it has been for this AMA series. I mean, Atlanta, Coda, I both bought just for to accommodate these series, but it's still a track. This Rockingham track is still very fun in that IndyCar.
Leaders,
it's fun in these truck series.
Leaders side by side coming off the corner. Leaders into traffic. Here's Valdez to the inside. The 08 in front of him, giving both of these the dirty air. The 25 goes to the high side, trying to get the clean air. 21 pulls alongside, side by side with lap traffic in the middle. And that breaks it up. Oh, the 20 and the 08 just slides right up in front of the 21. And, well, that battle now has definitely been separated.
I think it's just giant miscommunication between the lap car there and Julian Valdez. I think the 08 there was just trying to get out of the way and just didn't know how.
Well, there's only so many places you can hide on these racetracks, and you go to the inside, that might not be the right place. You stay to the high side, that might not be the right place. So, there's a little bit of communication, a little bit of driver trust you must follow. It seems to be the case in just about any series and any format, and that's kind of one of those things, and just kind of one of those racing deals. But Valdez will now have to work on getting back to Hal's bumper again. He reeled him in. He could do it again, but I think lap traffic played a role in allowing Valdez to get closer to Hal that time.
Yeah, that's just one thing that they got to manage here. Especially, it's something you always got to manage on these short tracks with these in these stock cars, and you just got to play them right, almost like a multi-class series like an IMSA or WEC, where you got to manage the lap traffic to a T, and you can't lose much time, but you also can't just completely shove them out of the way. So Valdez wasn't able to quite do that last time around, but he's closing that gap just a little bit to the leader, Peyton Howe.
Watching out of the tailgate of Howe. That black truck getting bigger and bigger and bigger as he is slowly reeling him back in. 6/10 going into turn one. As he rolls out of it, allows that truck to get back to the bottom, rotate, but it take him a long time to get back on the power, as they are now 22 laps into this current stint. So again, these tires pretty worn out now. They're just trying to manage them to the end of, well, I guess would be the stage first, right? Or will they get to a pit stop before the end of the stage?
No, you'll go to the end of the stage here. Typically, that's how it always is in the truck series. You always want to, and especially with how limited we have tire sets. Usually, we rock about 5 or 6 tire sets for the truck series or the Grand National series. This weekend, we only have 4. So you really don't want to take tires any earlier than you have to. So I guarantee you, every single driver here today will take tires under stage number 1, stage number 2, and not take anything earlier.
Will there be scenarios possibly in the second half of the race where you can look at green flag pit stops if we get into green flag racing, long stints like that?
We almost saw that in last night's race. We saw a couple drivers. We had a in the middle of stage number 3. We had a caution, and some drivers chose to stay out, and a lot of drivers that did decide to come in. And even in that short, it was a 60-lap run to the end, the drivers that did stay out and choose to pit under caution, well, they went 2 laps down, but they were actually able to set significantly faster lap times to a point where they are actually able to unlap themselves even in that short of a stint. So I think it's a situation to where it might be a very good call to try to pit under green just to have those fresh tires, because you are able to unlap yourself over the course of a run.
Lap 74 of 200. If you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of the American Motorsports Association Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, coming to you from the Rockingham Speedway for the Outland Custom Arms 200. We have now completed 75 of 200 laps. You're enjoying P1's coverage of tonight's race. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race, and ring the bell for future content, and including Our Monday night open wheel doubleheader. Race 1 starts at 8 p.m. with the iRacing IndyCar Open Series Monday night top split at Miami International Autodrome, otherwise known as the place where the IU football team has won their national championship. Hard Rock Stadium there. And race number 2 at 10 p.m. Eastern time with the iRacing Indy Next Road Series Monday night top split, where they will go to Algarve. Tonight's second running of the Rockingham 200, sponsored by Outland Custom Arms. At Outland Custom Arms, precision is the foundation, delivering custom crafted components and advanced coatings built for performance, reliability, and uncompromising pursuit of perfection. Outland Arms, built for precision, ready to perform. Back in the battle on the racetrack, we do have a pass for fourth. Kendall Paul is pass for fourth and fifth. Kendall Paul is around Pewota. Pewota falling back a little bit now as we get longer into this run.
Yeah, his tires are starting to fade away, and Logan Edwards has actually slotted himself back up into that third place spot. He dropped a little bit on that start here, but he is back to where he started initially on this stage. I do also want to point out, you did have to plug in that IU football team getting their national championship, didn't you, there, Gary? Can you tell the slight bias there, the slight fan coming out?
No, never, no.
Never,
I'm only unbiased to what I see on the racetrack.
Yeah, all right. But, yeah, back to the action on track. Logan Edwards actually has lost a little bit to Kendall Paul. Kendall, one of those big tire savers from last night, one of the drivers that has been patient over the course of last night's race here at Rockingham, is showing that again. He is closing that gap to that third place spot.
Sophie Connell in chat says, I haven't driven Rockingham since NASCAR racing 2003. It's about the last time I did, too. Actually, I did a couple iRacing events here in a NASCAR truck, I think. But I can about count on my hands the number of times I've raced here and have streamed here.
I used to have NASCAR 2005 History Cup, and that was my first introduction to Rockingham. And that season actually technically wasn't supposed to be on the schedule. Rockingham actually, the last race here for the Cup Series was 2004.
Yes.
Not 2005. They didn't come back, and the races went to Texas, and I think it was Vegas that got the other race. Texas took the last race away from Rockingham and for their spring race. So 2005 didn't have any races on the schedule, but now it's back with the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series. The Truck Series actually had a race tonight, so it's possible. I think they're talking about the Cup Series are coming back here, so that is very exciting to see here at the Rock.
I believe they just repaved the place at the cost, I think, of North Carolina taxpayers. I think the state government paid for the repaving job here. So if it's smooth, you might as well go ahead and run on it as David Dunwoody gets around Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue's fallen back to 10th. That I didn't expect to see.
Yeah, I think
he's having trouble.
Yeah, he has that bit damage somewhere.
Yeah. Paul Witt gets around him as he smacks the wall a little bit coming off of 2. He is well off the pace and is now falling under the grips of Lewis Hayes. But there's a battle behind Lewis Hayes with Seigerwalt and Hodgkins side by side in the 87. 87 seems to be on a rail at the moment. He gets a bumper in there to the inside of Say Hey Lewis Hayes and tried to clear him, but falls back in position. But now the 14 goes way up the racetrack into the wall. This is something you don't see very often with O'Donoghue having troubles at the moment.
His tires either have to be fried or he has to have some sort of suspension damage on that truck. And we'll see what happens at the stage caution if he just did kill his tires. But, you can see that he is struggling in that thing. He is understeering like no tomorrow right in front of him.
We're watching that battle right in front of us. We're riding through his front shield right now. Side by side, we see Say Hey Lewis Hayes up there with Hodgkins in the 72. A slide job right in front of Say Hey.
Hodgkins able to get that position. Stierwald on the inside. Say Lewis Hayes trying. He looks like he's fallen back a little bit. He was very quick early on in the stage, but now has fallen a couple positions. So his tires are starting to fade away with less than 5 to go here in the stage.
Now, would you believe Sophie saying Gary being Gary. Would you believe that we're talking about the history of Rockingham Speedway, that Rockingham showed up on an IndyCar car sliding on the backstretch. Not sure who that was. Inside, it's the 50.
It's a Mueller.
And the 66
and
again.
Alfred.
And we're under caution.
That should bring us to the end of stage number 2 here.
Convenient timings for these cautions for everybody.
But Peyton Howe just, well, he did cross the line on the last one. This one, he's going to have to do about 2 laps of caution to take the win here in stage number 2. So Peyton Howe effectively gaining stage number 1, stage number 2, and leading every lap in both of them. Been your dominant factor so far.
We will see them come to pit road as they get under the control of the pace truck. But as I was saying, would you believe that Rockingham did show up on the 1980 IndyCar schedule? Did you know that?
I thought they only did testing here. I thought they did test an IndyCar here, but they
did.
Never had it. They never had it on a schedule officially.
It was on the schedule, but was canceled. But Gordon Johncock, 2-time Indy 500 winner. At the time, he was just a one-time winner. It was a test in 1979, turning his best lap here at a 1:55.3. Said in an interview after the test he expected speeds of the 170. They probably would have been faster than that, to be honest with you, and plenty of side-by-side racing. But on that schedule, they also had Charlotte Motor Speedway, which was canceled, and also Talladega was on that schedule as well. All 3 of those races got canceled. Mainly that was due to the first CART-USAC split. But they could never get to coming to this race. But there was an official IndyCar test here, and Gordon Johncock performed it and got speeds into the 155 range in those early downforce era cars. And obviously, as you've seen in the simulation, when we come here in the Oval Series, we're well past that 155 range. Yes.
It's very scary. It's very scary. I remember my fixed race. I'm like, well, this is kind of stressful. Any mistake and you're just dead. There's no other way to put it.
And it's interesting enough, this race is kind of mirroring those Oval Series races, because the 2 Oval Series races that we have done here, that was in Season 4 2024 and Season 4 2025, both the winners started on the pole. And right now, Peyton Howe, our leader and has dominated this race, he's also started the pole. So it's going to show you that track position really matters, and about the only person that's been able to make any headway, a significant headway, right now, up inside the top 10, David Dunwoody in 9th is up 15 spots, and Matt Sisler there in the Quaker State truck in 5th spot, up 8, but everyone else is kind of hovering right around where they started this race.
Yeah, and that's just a factor of David Dunwoody. He has done this many times before throughout the season, where he has started at the back of the field and he's made his way up to the front. And Matt Sisler has been quietly done the same thing. David, he usually starts around the midfield, progressively makes his way up towards the front. We've seen him do that a couple times as well. But David Dunwoody, that's usually to be expected with him, where he starts at the back and just you somehow find himself in the top 10.
Pit stops happening. This caution is brought to you by Admin Box. Race control at the touch of a button. Oh, yeah, we got a little close there, but that's how you have to do. Yeah, well, I mean, he's just making sure he doesn't run out of fuel.
That's the strategy I see. We'll go with that.
Remember, the prime directive of racing your teammate, thou shalt not wreck your teammate. And maybe a little bit of a love tap as they come to pit road. Admin Box, race control, touch of a button, learn more. Click on our link in the description. And now we are at the Stage 2 break. Stage 2 break is brought to you by Black Magic Studios. Tonight's stage break, of course, Black Magic Studios is a small but highly skilled graphic shop creating high-quality iRacing paints and wraps for any car in the service. Visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next custom design. All the links you need, including an invite to their Discord server, is in the description. That is your Stage 2 break sponsor, as now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this race.
Yes, we are. Stage number 3, always the longest stage here. Going to be about slightly short of 110 laps. Now, they can make it on fuel. It's just a matter of if you want to stay out there for all 110 laps here and, just try to make the tires last as long as they can. I think it's going to be worth it to try coming down pit road and just split the stage in 2 and just try to see how fast you're able to go here.
That's a pretty sound strategy. Just, do it in 2 halves. Do 55 and 55. That's still a heck of a stint, though. Now, someone that's used to doing stints in like the 30s and 40s, a 55-lap stint is massive.
Yeah, and that's if we go green to the end here. If we get caution, I guarantee you'll see everybody here take their last set of tires, unless we get one like immediately off the restart. But we will probably see a large chunk of the field pit around either the halfway to late half of the stage here if it goes green.
Let's talk about the different trucks we have in the lineup. We have the different body styles, something we don't have a lot in the IndyCar side of it. Even though in real life IndyCar racing, you got Honda engines, you have only one Delar chassis, one Honda, but you have the Honda engines and the Chevrolet engines. Here we have the Ram truck, we have the Ford F-150, we have the Silverado, and then we have the Toyota Tundra. Is there any advantage between a different make than the others in this particular in sim racing, or is just your preference of what you want to look at in your looked at in your sim?
It's a preference. As someone who worked in it in real life, it's the same. it's legit all the same.
We're getting ready to go green. Lights are out on the pace truck. 2 Rams lead 2 Fords in row 2. I'm a Chevrolet guy. I have a Camaro. So the lead Chevy is David Dunwoody in 10th, and he's been a man on the move. But we'll continue to watch him as he is now up in that 5th row. We're getting ready to go green for the start of Stage 3 in the Outland Customs 200 at the Rock. Here we go again. Lap 95, green flag out.
Now, as he done many times before, has already gone out to a 1-2 car length lead over his teammate Logan Edwards in 3rd. And there's a lot of jostling on that backstretch there, Gary. A lot of shuffling precision. We got a truck around, able to save it there as Mason Mueller taking a half spin through 3 and 4, but no caution. He was able to save it. He's able to continue. Well,
we'll see what happened with him. Might have had a little help, or just in the 50 again. There's the 72. Might have had a little help. Excuse me. That was Hodgkins. We'll replay that a little bit and just see that that might have been a situation again. My experience with these cars is trucks, and then Peyton House sits a purple lap at a 147 too. Is you still have to bring these tires up to temp a little bit, and this might be a situation since it was so early into the first lap of a run, maybe a little loose as we see the a little oversteer. Car really wants to rotate, maybe a little help from Lewis Hayes, but nice catch, nice racecraft, and a way to avoid another admin box caution series.
Yeah, but the one thing that's going to hurt is his tire wear for the rest of the race.
Yeah, those are going to be very angry tires.
Yeah, it's very much like the alternates on the IndyCar, to where you lock up on your outlap, you're going to be struggling for the rest of this thing here, and he's going to have to manage that as soon as possible. And we talk about taking tires, split strategy. He might have to try an undercut here to try to get back up towards the front.
Paul Witz showing his being a bit of a Rockingham whisperer. Remember, finished on the podium a season ago here, and now he's up to 7th. He's been hovering right around this spot, but he picks up another position. But, closers be closing, and this is closing time in the 3rd stage. He is now the man on the move in the 7th.
Yeah, he's up in the 7th, but he's also got to still think about the tires here. Sam Crow, who has been, he's been kind of lurking around that 9th place, 8th place spot. He hasn't been able to really progress up towards the field towards the later half of these stages as he did last night. Obviously, with those first stages, that's not going to help his case at all with it being shorter. So he's going to have to get on the move here just a little bit earlier if he wants to make it, try to get some spots here.
Currently got 118 of you watching right now. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Where are you people when we do IndyCar races? Come and watch us on IndyCar Mondays. Come on.
Yeah, look. Yeah, where's all the support for the oval fix? Come on. I had a very good race where I finished best of non-Pro Series drivers. Come on.
You're making Caleb sad, everybody. Come watch an IndyCar race.
And the best part is, I didn't figure out what the bar and weight checker says for best until like 5 laps to go.
The Starlink truck, of course, Starlink, just space big in the news right now. We got our astronauts on the, one Canadian, on the way to the moon right now.
Canada, gold medal game, USA beat gold medal.
They got to regain some of their prestige by going to the moon. I mean, they got beat by us in baseball. They got beat by us in hockey. That's their sport. Now, we did get beat by the Venezuelans in baseball, but I think that was very poetic, I think, anyways. But the World Baseball Classic, a different style of play for there all the way around.
Yeah, I just had to get my jab in towards the towards us playing gold medal. Listen, as a Blue Jackets fan, I will never see success in hockey, and that might be the only time I ever do.
Hey, I remember as I was very young. I'm showing my age now, but I remember when we won Miracle Ice. I was watching that game. My dad said that was a big deal, and I think when Team USA beat Canada, even though it was the pros, I think it was almost as big of a deal this time around as it was for the amateurs to beat the pro Soviets back in 1980. As we are mixing our sports now, hoping you don't mind. We are crossing streams, but Peyton Howe now getting into traffic and drivers getting out of the way as he is really on a big clip, and he is deep into the back of the pack right now with a bunch of back markers.
Yeah, and he's completely separated himself from Julian Valdez. Usually, what we saw in stage number 1 and stage number 2 is that they were fairly close together throughout the entirety of the stage. Minor, some lap traffic getting in the way, but now Peyton Howe has just completely taken off in the distance from his teammate Julian Valdez, and they've completely taken off from third place Logan Edwards and Matt Sisler in fourth. So there's a very good battle for third, actually third on back, but those front two have just taken off from everybody else.
And we'll put the camera here on the battle for third. The American Motorsports Association Truck Series, sponsored by Archway Industrial Coatings. For years, Archway has been delivering epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that stand the test of time, all while meeting installation schedules and budgets without compromise. Committed to high-quality work at competitive costs, Archway provides industrial, commercial, and retail flooring along with concrete repair solutions that you can rely on. When it needs to be done right and done on time, Archway gets the job done. Archway Industrial Coatings, get ready to floor it. And they are your title sponsors here of the Truck Series in the American Motorsports Association. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We are lap 110, just past the halfway point. Peyton Howe continues to dominate this race as he's done all race long. Julian Valdez, is in second, starting to reel him in a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Logan Edwards been hovering around that P3 position all race long, is in third. Matt Sisler in fourth. And Powota is recovered back to fifth. That is your top five. Thanks for joining us, everybody, once again. We certainly appreciate it as we are getting ready to start the weekend, Easter weekend. And no real NASCAR racing, no racing at all this weekend. I think everyone gets the weekend off, I think.
We got O'Reilly Series tomorrow.
Okay, the O'Reilly Series.
Truck Series was today. Corey Heim time decided that he wanted to come back and just start dominating the Truck Series again. Gets back-to-back wins, but
so what is it to you? Is it for the Grand National Series? That's now the O'Reilly Series. Some people always will call it by a certain. To me, it's always the Busch Series. That's how old I am. What is it to you? Is it nationwide or is it Xfinity?
So it's weird. Like whenever I call it vintage stuff, I always call it Busch Series. Like even if it's like 10 years ago, I'll call it Busch Series, even though that was the nationwide era. But like right now, I still call it Xfinity Series. Like if it's modern like NASCAR, I'll call it Xfinity Series. But I will always call like historic stuff like the Busch Series.
Oh, Kendall Paul gets his bumper hooked with Nathan Perota, but hangs on to it. A little bit of racecraft and drivership there between the two. Little sportsmanship, as I think Nathan lit him off the hook a little bit and lifted the accelerator and the loud pedal and allowed Kendall to slide on up and not get that car or that truck any more out of shape than what it was.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a coming together there on the back straightaway, but Kendall Ball slots himself into that top 3 position. Meanwhile, Matt Sizzler and Logan Edwards are trying to navigate lap traffic for the first time this race, I believe. So we'll see how those two do. They got John Songer right in front of them as one of the lap cars in the background goes into the wall as Jeremy Dunwoody, he's trying to let everybody by.
Oh, look at this battle right here. Is Sisler and Logan Edwards getting around lap traffic. For me, this is always will be the Craftsman Truck Series. Always, 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 always. Even if they were the what were they? The Camping World.
They're Camping World, Camping Truck, Camping. They were everything besides everything camping related.
Now, do you remember? Do you remember when the Truck Series started? Do you remember what it was actually called at the time?
I thought they started off with Craftsman because
it was the Craftsman Super Trucks.
Ah, the Super Trucks. I'm looking at this battle between.
Yep, they're back. Pelota's giving them a little bit of a business this time.
And Kendall Paul going through turn 1 a couple times ago, like looked up the inside Matt Sizzler and was trying to get that position. And now the three have kind of came together. Logan Edwards has kind of pulled away from the 4th place spot and now is gaining. He's not faster than our leaders at the moment, but he is faster than everybody else behind him. So they need to start work. They're going to fight together. They need to start working together to try to gain on Logan Edwards, and that's actually what they're doing, and Matt Sizzler has caught back up to Logan.
I remember when the Truck Series first started, they were super trucks, and they raced at, their thing was they didn't race at tracks that the Cup Series or the Grand National or Busch Series raced at. They were always like little bull rings, and they always, instead of having pit stops, they would have these halftime breaks. And
kind of like how modern, like super late models, like the modified series.
Yeah,
like
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more so to do with the tires just don't blow up.
They're trying to keep
the modified.
They're trying to keep the cost down that as well as for those, because what they wanted the big teams to have, like all the big teams, they wanted all the big teams to have a Truck Series team. So that's where you saw Childress had a team and Hendricks had a team, and they all painted their trucks to look like the cars they had in the Cup Series.
Yeah, the most iconic one was that the Childress number 3 that looked exactly like the Intimidators.
Oh yeah. And there was a Jeff Gordon looking one there too.
Yeah. You had Kevin Harvick's Richard Childress truck in there during the mid 2000s as well. To me, that was actually the one season in the chase for the Cup was actually driven by Matt Crafton for one season in the old video game I used to play, because that year, the 2005 game, was the first year they had the Busch Series. Well, they had the sensor. It was called the National Series, and then they had the Craftsman Truck Series, and then the Modified Series. That was the first year, and that's actually the only year Crafton was actually featured in a NASCAR game until they got into the Heat Series. So, little tidbit for you.
There you go. Well, right now, Valdez has reeled in Howell now, 2/10, and he is right there on the bumper. He could almost reach out and grab him if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's about half a tenth faster each lap here. That just goes to show, like, maybe he's saving tires a little bit better. He dropped off massively from Peyton Howell early in the run. Now we're starting to get to, oh my! That was very close. That was
with another truck just kind of getting out of everyone's way with the number 1 there. That was Ted Craven.
The old teddy bear just trying to get out of the way, but had a very close call there. Very close. So someone needs to check Julian Valadez's underwear at the moment, see if there's any brown spots, because that made me wince a little bit.
Code Brown moment here at lap 125. Your teammate JT Smeaton, or friend JT Smeaton, checking in chat, says, "Go Caleb." I'm telling you, you're carrying the broadcast.
He's cheering me on.
Yeah.
So, but every single time he's cheered me on, he's immediately jinxed it.
Oh.
Because he did that at what was the last? Oh, he did that in Dark Horse on Sunday. He said, "Go Caleb." 5 seconds later, I spin out and die and immediately wreck. So he's done that. He did that at Votive in Kentucky as well, or not Kentucky, Chicagoland, where I was staying fourth. He says, "Go Caleb," and then I die on the last lap. So, what happens if he cheers me on, but I'm not in the race?
A little inside baseball. The Dark Horse Racing Series is a IndyCar DW12. It's the old free chassis that comes with your subscription. They run Sunday nights here on the channel. They predominantly run ovals. If you're interested in driving a pretty easy to grab onto IndyCar, check out the Dark Horse Series. They run Sunday nights, most Sunday nights, every other Sunday night pretty much, opposite Votive here on the channel. Check them out, Dark Horse Racing Series in the DW12s. Here comes Valdez to the inside of Peyton Howe. Do we have a shot for the lead? As Howe is getting all the dirty air from the truck in front of him. But now that truck goes to the bottom of the racetrack and gives that dirty air. Now we're going to have problems going into 3 because we have a slower car to the truck to the inside. They get out of the way, but still now that slower truck is in front of this battle for the lead.
Yeah, and Julian Valdez is actually able to get to position. Oh, he almost made contact there with Daniel Meadows, the lap truck there. Payne House slots himself back in a second. And that just goes to show Julian slow off the initial start, started saving his tires immediately, and now has the lead here. Peyton Howe is now going to start to fall back a little bit from Julian for the lead.
We'll see what type of gap he can put on his teammate and rival for this race. Valdez and Howe. He's now out to about 2 truck length lead down the backstretch. Oh, Valdez blinks out. You don't want to have that happen. Don't want to drop any packets, especially while you're winning the race.
You don't want to pull an Indy Kirkenbauer at Chicagoland.
No,
DC's on
I
the
think there was. I want to say there was a race in the ISRA I was doing, and the winner was like the leader was like a lap or 2 away from getting the win, and they just blinked out and they dropped, and that was it. Yeah, and that's how they lost the race.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen.
No, I don't wish that on anybody. Dunwoody around Wits. As we see the admin box and the Black Magic. So battle of the sponsors, premier sponsors on the racetrack. And Dunwoody up to 9th now, up 15. Now the problem with Dunwoody is, did he start too far back? Ooh, into the wall, and he rides the wall halfway down the backstretch. Almost collects Witt back in it. He has a lift, but he's still in the battle. But did Dunwoody maybe start this race a little bit more conservative on that qualification run? I don't think he had a penalty, but that's cost him a lot of track position, and he's just been in a position where he's been catching up, has to play catch up this entire race.
And that's honestly just been the story. He started at the back of the field for most of these races, and yet, as we said, he's somehow found himself inside the top 10. So it's not uncommon for him to, be in this position where he's had to move his way up to the front of the field here. He's doing that again here tonight, but we see him in the 9th place spot, and he's actually still gaining on the 2 cars in front of him, James Hodgson and Sam Crow.
They're settling into a bit of a nice green flag run, something I'm very used to. I like green flag pit stops. See maybe if anyone attempts a bit of an undercut, see if that works. I don't know if that will or not.
Yeah, we're around the halfway point of the stage, so they wanted to split it 50-50 and take some tires. We should be starting to see some trucks within. If they wanted to go exactly halfway, they would have to be.
And about
within the
8
next
laps
lap
from now, yeah, about 8 laps or so from now is where they would get to halfway through a 110-lap run to wrap this race up. We're at 63 to go right now as Valdez continues to pull away. He's now pulled away by 8/10.
Yeah, it just goes to show he's been saving tires this entire time, and now he's pulling away from his teammate Peyton Howe. Peyton Howe still yet to win a race on the season, but he leads the points here.
Consistency.
So he's very consistent, but he's still yet to find that first win here in the Truck Series.
So let me ask you, as someone that's probably grown up mostly through the playoff era of NASCAR, I don't know if you sat through the championship that changed most everyone's mind. I believe the driver only won like one race that entire season. That was Kenseth, I think. How do you feel about someone that is able to lead the points and maybe win a championship without getting a win? Because it's happened before, twice in IndyCar history. It happened. And I don't see a problem with it, but apparently America wants to see wins.
Yeah, and that's actually, we have seen it in the Truck Series in real life under the playoff format. That was Matt Crafton back in 2019. We saw that with Austin Dillon in the O'Reilly Series. We haven't seen it in the Cup Series yet. However, the championship format, it should be, in my opinion, a full season format. You know, your most consistent driver.
Yeah.
Now, however, I do like the thing where NASCAR did when they went back to this chase format of rewarding wins a little bit more than what they did in the past.
Yeah.
I think wins should be rewarded more than just one position above second.
Yeah.
That's how NASCAR always did it ever since the really early days, where it was just a single position over second. I do like the fact that they're now rewarding wins a little bit more than they used to. But I do like the chase system that they got over the playoffs now. I would like to see a full season sports points format, as I think that just fairly crowns the champion. And we have seen, it's not like, everybody's worried about, oh, we won't get a championship out to the end of the line. We have seen that in full-blown season point formats, to where even drivers like that only had a couple wins on the season. Well, then you also got a driver that has like 10 wins on the season, but they've been inconsistent. So
Right.
when those two come together, the biggest case scenario of that was back in like 1992 with Davey Allison, Bill Elliott, Alan Kulwicki.
Yeah.
Those three
Classic year.
were basically, they were fighting for the championship, and really you had Bill Elliott and Davey Allison winning all the time, and then you had Alan Kulwicki, only 2 wins on the season.
Right.
But he was just way more consistent. So you really don't have that if you have a win in your system. If you have a driver win once and he's in the system, then that just takes away a spot from everybody else. Whereas, a full point season, you have to be consistent for all 36 weekends, and you have to be good all 36 weekends, or at least in the Truck Series, all 30 weekends.
Tony Bettenhausen Sr. in 1958 won the USAC Championship in Champ Car, which is a modern-day IndyCar now, with no wins. Tom Sneva won the championship in 78 with no wins, the USAC Champ Car Championship then, which is no guarantee that he would have even kept a seat. He was driving for Roger Penske and got fired at the end of the season. Do you know who took his full-time seat the next year?
I do not.
Rick Mears.
Oh. We got to spell it back, Rich. That is...
Who is it?
Mason Mueller.
Mason Mueller, and we are not... Well, he is pointing in the wrong direction, and he does wisely
That was
toe.
with Peyton Howe. He collided with Peyton Howe.
And there it is. We're watching it with Howell, and they just come together. Howell, I don't think has a lot of damage, but that doesn't help his cause, and that's probably going to. He should probably get that looked at, and I don't know how much damage he's going to have, but when he comes to pit road, that might impact how his rest of his race will unfold.
It doesn't look like he didn't get much
damage. I don't see much damage, but sometimes these things are weird. You get a 2X and nothing happens, and you get a 0X and all of a sudden you're down a 10th.
Me at St. Petersburg, where I got 0X and my entire front wing was gone. But The one thing I will say with these stock cars is that they can take a beating. They outright can take a beating compared to the Indy cars. So it's not like you take a little tap on the wall and your entire race is ruined with side-pod damage.
Let's watch this in full speed again. I think the 50 just runs out of room on the high side, and the wall comes up to greet him, and he's trying to stay out of the way. I see him working because he knows the leaders are around him, but he just runs out of room, and the 25, and we are now 58 laps into this run, 59 laps into this run now. His tires are pretty well spent. It's not like he can turn on a dime at that point either.
No, he can't. It's just one of the things you got to manage with these long green flag runs here. You just got to manage the tires, and once the tires are done, and as we see Daniel Meadows, he actually DNFs from the race here. But
here we go, down the backstretch, a drag race. Kendall Paul, Perota, kind of like what happened in the last stint, starting now to fade as the tires are starting to go longer in the tooth. Kendall Paul goes to the low side, use a little bit of the apron, try to make that lap a little bit shorter, but doesn't quite have the momentum to clear him. He can clear him if he wants to, and gives him the old Brazilian slide.
He gets him off turn number 2, and it kind of goes into with the Peyton Howell incident. That turn number 2 comes on you very, very quickly. Kind of like how Darlington's turn 2 is, to where it gets, it feels very, very progressive, and then at the very last second, it cuts very, very hard. So it's something you, with these old tires, is hard to kind of manage, especially if you're going side by side with somebody.
Do you know that Murph won a championship without winning a race?
He said that before.
Yes.
Murph tells Murph.
It's no legend. It's no legend. I know he does like to talk. He loves to talk. It is no legend. He won the Dark Horse Championship last season by not winning a single race, just by consistency.
Yeah, I get all of his stories mixed up all the time. He tells so many stories that I'm like, oh yeah, you told that before. I don't know what exactly happened, but you 100% said something like that.
Oh, green flag pit stop. Nathan Pelota decides he's going to come in with 46 to go and maybe attempt a little bit of an undercut. He's going to go for that last set of new tires. And I'm going to guess everyone's going for 4. Now, I'm an IndyCar guy. Again, we're coming to pit road on IndyCar this late in the race. If you're going to fill up the tank full of fuel, you're going to get 4 tires anyways. Does somebody go 2 tires here? I think that's an awful lot to ask for 2 tires to go 110 laps in the second half of this race.
No, and if you do choose to come down pit road and you only take 2 tires, well, if we get a late green caution and you're on the lead lap, well, you do have that left sides, but those left sides won't be any good if your right sides are already dead. So there's no really point to taking just 2 tires and having a worn set of tires on your lefts, and then
pit road.
Peyton Howell's coming down pit road. So what does that do for our leaders? When does Julian Valdez choose to pit in? Right now, Julian Valdez, our leader,
is not going to allow him to answer on an undercut at all. He's coming to pit road right now, and he will make sure there's going to be no undercut attempt, and that turns the lead over for the first time today to Logan Edwards as he assumes the lead under green flag pit conditions.
Now, this does bring up a question of how long Logan Edwards wants to go on these tires. Right before the pit cycle started, he was about 8 seconds back. Now, right in front of him, John Sauter gets a little bit loose.
The 08. He got it, though, and I would imagine a lot of these trucks are now starting to have handling issues as the shadows start to creep across the straightaways here. Here's your weather conditions. The track tip has come up. It is 92 degrees, 78 on the ambient, but the sun is starting to set a little bit, and you're starting to see these shadows creep across the front stretch there. The grandstand, the main grandstand at the start-finish line.
That Sizzler second place is in.
Sizzler decides not to go full green and just goes with the teal. That's not a bad call. I am against the green. I believe in the green myth and the green curse. Unless it's British racing green, and then it's okay. The 24 in front of the 93 coming to pit road for their final stop. When does Logan Edwards come in? Sam Crow, baby, not doctoring, but maybe he's the tire doctor. Let's say that. He is babying those tires longer than everyone else except for Logan Edwards. And he's going deep into the count.
And that's honestly probably a big strategy call, because if we do get a caution late in this running, well, now everybody else that did pit, they're trapped a lap down.
Yeah,
of course, Logan will come to pick tires if the caution does come out. Does Logan? It looked like Logan
There
Edwards
he
is in. Logan
coming
Edwards
off the banking. Very difficult to do in any vehicle. Now he gets down to the 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. No limiter in these trucks that I'm used to in IndyCar. He has to be at 45 miles per hour by those yellow cones. And then he has to kind of buy feel and buy RPM all the way down pit road. Keep it at 45 miles per hour or less. And get all the while looking as we go around the corner here, looking for his stall, then hitting his marks.
Really in the pit box, he's at quite a unique angle.
Yeah, he's kind of cockeyed. It's kind of like a Phoenix now, the new Phoenix pit road. And that turns the lead over to Sam Crow.
And actually, Logan loses a significant amount of time doing that. He's actually now behind Ryan O'Donoghue, who's actually not pitted yet, but he's behind like Sam Crow, Nathan Palawada, and everybody else that hasn't pitted. So he's lost a little bit of time, but he will have the fresher tires at the end of this run here. So he has some work to do to try to get back up there in that third place spot.
Sam Crow the leader, Paul Witt in second, Ryan O'Donoghue in third. Matty Wags, give it up to Matty Wags, one of my IndyCar Series admins that's on the channel with the Horizon IndyCar Series Wednesday nights that Murph does. Car in the wall, hard off the corner. That is Lewis Hayes, and that's going to bring out a caution. And for those that stayed out long, as a truck escapes on the high side as Lewis Hayes tries to bring the truck around, those that stayed out long are going to get the racing god's blessing.
And that's exactly what we talked about. Caution comes out. If you stayed out, well, you basically are going to win this race. And that's what Sam Crow, Paul Witt, and Ryan O'Donoghue, Matt Wagner are all.
Now, Crow brought out the caution on himself. Let's see what happens. Okay. That was a case of old tires versus new tires, and the 21 kind of chrome horned him a little bit and sent him on around in the exit of 4. And wow, I'm sure the 21 did not want to bring out that caution, and that happened. And it's going to cost maybe him some track position. We're going to see as we resort the field here. Here come the leaders to pit road. Sam Crow, Paul Witt, Ryan O'Donoghue, Matty Wags. They all stayed out the longest. They will come to pit road now. Valdez with a little bit of the chrome horn action. And I'm not sure how racing stewards handled any of that or whatever, so we're just going to see what happens here. Is he will move now up to the head of the pack here. But he's going to have at least the tires that he did on his last pit stop that are going to be 10 laps old. So everyone coming to pit road are going to have brand spanking new tires and a lot of track position as a result as well.
Yeah, but they also have to deal with these lap trucks as well. So they will have fresher tires, but they got to get around everybody that's in front of them.
Shorter fill. It'll be lighter truck. We see them coming out. Crow, Witt, right there. And 33 to go. I mean, they could push these tires a lot harder if they want to as well.
Yeah, basically from here, if you pit now, if you stayed out and you pit now, you're full push at this point. You're not saving tires.
Now, this caution is brought to you by Admin Box. Race control at the touch of a button. To learn more, click on their link in the description. Tonight's second running of the Rockingham 200, sponsored by Outland Custom Arms. At Outland Custom Arms, precision is the foundation, delivering custom crafted components and advanced coatings built for performance, reliability, and uncompromising pursuit of perfection. Outland Custom Arms built for precision, ready to perform. As we are starting to get sorted here for the restart, lights are out on the pace track. We are going to go racing here with 31 to go here in the Outland Custom Arms Rockingham 200. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race for us here in the American Motorsports Association Archway Industrial Truck Series. Oh, we're going to go delayed caution. So we're going to go one more lap. So it gives me time to read this ad drop. The next race for us here in the American Motorsports Association Archway Industrial Truck Series next week as the drivers head to Bristol Motor Speedway in the Rogue Energy 250. Coverage starts around 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time right here on P1, and I will be back. Sadly, I will be back. You'll have to deal with me for one more week, everybody. Can you deal with it? I think everybody can deal with it. We'll see. 111 of you are watching. I really hope that would give me some thumbs up, get some subscribes here. Really would appreciate it. Shout us out. Share us to a friend. Join us for one of our IndyCar races during the week, would you? I want to thank the Archway, thank our sponsors, Archway Industrial Coatings, for being the sponsor of the American Motorsports Association Truck Series, their premier racing division. Get ready to go green. So your thoughts here, Sam Crow is with those brand spanking new tires. He is right up there. He's got to have blood in the water here. He's got to be feeling it right now.
Yeah, and he won last night's race. He was the tire whisperer, I guess we should say. Green flag is back out here, and Peyton Howley and Julian Valdez are on the front row. They're going to lead him off, but it'll only be a matter of time before everybody else on those fresher set of Goodyear tires will make their way up to the front.
The 21 and 25 get everything sorted. Teammates, they don't spend a lot of time racing. It's going to cost them time to those with fresher tires. Pelota has 16-lap-old tires, but Crow, Donahue, Witt, Wagner all behind this group, all with freshies, and they're all coming forward.
Yeah, and Sam Crow, Ryan O'Donohue are teammates, so they want to try to work together to make their way up towards the front of the duo of Julian Valdez and Peyton Howell, who have led the entirety of this race here at Rockingham.
You know, at one point we saw Ryan O'Donohue falling back through the pack, rubbing up against the wall. Looks like he was off the pace, and now all of a sudden, surprise, 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 and when the pay window gets opened, here he comes.
Yeah, it's full go time. Ryan O'Donohue knows that, so he's going to be full push to the end here. He slots himself back into that fourth place position, now on the back of Matt Sizzler going through turns 3 and 4.
The racing in the back allows Valdez to get out a little bit to the front. He blinks out, but comes back. And then that's a little bit of and now O'Donohue is around Pelota. So there's still time, 27 to go. Hopefully Valdez does not have blinking and bandwidth issues. That's a bit of nothing that gets him as he blinks again. A bit of an unfair advantage because you never quite know as, little bit of a fade by Howe going into one, slamming the door on O'Donohue.
Yeah, and then right behind them, Sam Crow slots himself into the fourth place spot. So now we have old tires versus new tires from first through fourth. Ryan O'Donohue on the back of Peyton Howe. We'll see if he's able to get the move going to turn number 1.
And as I was saying before, you never quite know where that truck's going to rematerialize, and kind of like a bad transporter accident in Star Trek. You don't want it to materialize on yourself. That is would cause definitely the collision code to kick over, and the master of all net codes is going to occur right there. So hopefully Valdez internet connection is stabilizing, but Howell, excuse me, I keep calling him Powell. Howell making the back end of his truck super wide, and a little bit of a Pruitt fade going down the front straight, keeping O'Donohue kind of honest at this point. But at some point late in this race, well, this is truck racing, I would imagine that bumper is going to come to use.
Yeah, it will, and we'll see
there
the
it is.
back, and
there
he's
it is.
down the front
there
stretch.
it is.
Ryan O'Donohue getting very, very loose to the corner. He's able to gather it up. loses time to his teammate behind. That's a bit of a block from Peyton Howe there, but they no harm, no foul as we work lap 179 next time around.
Again, he's right back up there. He catches back up in less than a lap. He goes to the outside. Howe defends to the inside. This time, no fade, just holds his line down to the bottom. And now he, I don't know how much teammate action's going on at the front or how much the gloves are off, but he's definitely being a bit of a rear gunner for his teammate to try to pull away. But it's now a 2-on-2 even tag team match here. No steel chairs, no steel cage. It's just a straight up 2-on-2 tag team match between teammates up front of P1 and P2 and teammates in P3 and P4 with much fresher tires, and they are getting racy as they're trying to unwind the corners as much as they can, getting out to the wall and sometimes smacking a little tank slapper. That's going to cost them a little bit of ground that they'll have to make up here. 20 to go now.
Yeah, Ryan O'Donoghue, big smack on the wall of turn number 2. It juts out like we talked about before. Kind of like
oh, Matty Wags to the inside. Oh, and then we got traffic up front. So we got racing all over the place as Valdez gets by. Lap traffic. But that allows that whole group to catch back up now.
Ryan O'Donoghue, he needs to get by Peyton Howe. Uses a bit of the bumper there. Peyton Howe getting a bit squirrely through turns number 1. Peyton Howe doesn't get the greatest exit. That allows Ryan O'Donoghue in the back there to gain a little bit of time for that second place position. But Peyton Howe is just trying to hold up as much as he can because he knows once they go by, they're gone. So he's trying to hold them up as much as he can. That way Julian Valdez can try to run away with the lead here.
Again, playing rear gunner a little bit as Crow goes to the inside to clear the lap traffic. Now these tires for these guys that are chasing 15 laps old. I'm not sure when the crossover point's going to be reached, but at some point it's going to get close, and there just won't have as much good left in those tires to push the issue. So do we see O'Donoghue go to the bumper?
I think at this point you kind of have to. I mean, Peyton Howe is defending very, very aggressively to try to let his teammate Julian Valdez, and
he fades to the inside. They go to the apron. Wow, and that's definitely going to get a bumper from somebody. That's going to be a receipt right there.
We have an unpaid. We have a receipt here, Gary. We have a receipt. Peyton Howe defending very aggressively against Ryan O'Donoghue, trying to let Julian Valdez run away with the lead here. So we'll see what happens here in the closing stages of the race.
Well, Valdez gets the win here with 15 to go. Howe definitely, Valdez owes Howe a bit of a steak dinner if that's the case, or a whole bunch of iRacing credits, either or, for playing rear gunner here. You don't see typically in stock car racing a lot of teammate helping teammate. Maybe you see it kind of at you kind of see it at the plate tracks, but not kind of really at the remainder of the tracks in the schedule. But teammates definitely cooperating here in the late stages. Howe trying to cover Valdez, who's running away right now by a second over this battle for second right here.
Yeah, Peyton Howe defending like his life depends on it, trying to let his teammate run away with it. But Ryan O'Donoghue has not really used the bumper at all.
He's been very fair.
Yeah, he's being very fair at the moment, not using the bumper. He wants to try to get by cleanly.
Crow to the inside. And this is how much do you want to race your teammate?
I think this is going to be a situation where Sam Crow has the bare tires at the moment, as he's going to let him go. Or maybe...
Oh, O'Donoghue's giving him room. He's giving him a lot of room. I mean, you could tell he was giving him room. He was all the way up on the wall through the tri-oval area, and now he clears him.
Yeah, he's letting Sam Crow have a jab.
And let me shout out the 87, Alan Steerwald. Where did he come from?
He has the fresher tires at the moment. He might be still in this. He might be able to fight for the lead here.
Oh, we're gonna spin! He gets into the 25 and he just got tired. Sam Crow got tired and it said, enough of you, out of my way. 14 back to the inside of his teammate. And it would be interesting if he sent his teammate ahead to do that, and then they move over and allow the 14 to go back on by. I doubt that's the case.
So these guys have been racing very, very hard. Ryan O'Donohue still on that inside line. Sam Crow on the high side. I think Ryan's cooked his tires at this point, and Sam Crow's going to have to.
Oh, we're going to go three wide. How just sends it. Here comes Steigerwald. I told you. Where did he come from? The 87 to the inside. He is now up at the P3.
This is the top 7 had just came together. Julian Valdez has kind of walked away with it, but the top 7 these guys have been fighting so much and holding each other up. They came back together, and meanwhile Logan Edwards has actually gained on this pack out in front.
We ought to probably ought to call Steigerwald Ghost Runner because he has been Mr. Stealth, and then all of a sudden, I mean, when you have to perform and you need to perform late in the race, here he is, P3, bottom step of the podium, out of nowhere, but he's not secured this position yet because Peyton Howe, using all of that racecraft, all of that iRating that he has, to try to get that position back, but does he have the truck to get the position? Steigerwald's actually holding up that group a little bit now. Here comes Matty Wags in 6th. You see him peeking out there. Does Crow have time? 7 to go. 1.8 now to Valdez.
Yeah, and you look at Ryan O'Donoghue, he was all over the back, and now he's at the rear. He's running gunner in that 7th place position. Meanwhile, his teammate Sam Crow is trying to gain as much time as he can on Julian Valdez. He is faster at the moment, but he probably is going to run out of laps here. Steigerwald in 3rd, Peyton Howe in 4th, dropping a little bit back to Steigerwald. Paul Witt is now all over the back of the guy who has led the majority of this race.
And like a ninja, Alan Steigerwald is very quietly worked his way into an attack position. Now he starts to pull away from that next group. I think the tires of Howe are now giving up. And now he's going to be under the attack of Paul Witt, who would like to get, he's in the top 5, but he would like to get another podium finish 2 years in a row. Bringing with him Matty Wags, up 17 spots for the IndyCar driver. Winner in the Elite Racing League on Thursday night at Motegi in their season opener. He has brought that truck all the way from 23rd to P6, and still with time to go, 4 to go at the line. Valdez leads by 1.7, and I think you're right. I think the Racing Messiah is going to come up just a little shy. Sam Crow's reeling him in, but right now Valdez can actually manage the gap, as they say in the UK, and actually control the pace of this race. And the only thing that he needs to fear now, I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to see it, because I'm not a fan of him, is a green-white checkered finish.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we want. And the thing is, Sam Crow,
we don't want it. We don't want it.
We don't want it, but if it does come out, well, Peyton Howe can't help his teammate at all on the inside. He's back and forth, so he needs to get out around Steigerwald. He looks up the inside of him now on the back straightaway. Doesn't quite get the move there to get a fender on. White flag next time by.
And they are battling like bees coming off of turn 3 with Hodgkin, Hayes, and Pelota back in 9th, 10th, and 11th, and 12th. White flag out. Valdez cleanly through 1 and 2, down to the white line, down the backstretch, half a lap to go. He didn't start out this race as the fastest truck, but he certainly ended this race as the fastest truck, and he is going to eat into that lead that the points leader has just a little bit as he gets the win here at Rockingham. Sam Crow backs up a successful week with a win yesterday and a P2 here today, and Alan the Ninja Steigerwald comes home in 3rd in an unbelievable racing comeback. 13 spots here in the final segment to be the bottom step of the podium. And here are your final results. The Outland Custom Arms 200 here from The Rock. Julie Valdez, your winner by 1.9 seconds over Sam Crow. Alan Steigerwald comes home in third. Paul Witt's fourth. Not too bad races for him in his career here. 2 top fives. Peyton Howell in fifth. Matt Wagner in sixth. Ryan O'Donohue in seventh. Logan Edwards eighth. Sisler ninth. Hodgkins in 10th. And say hey Lewis Hayes in 11th. Pelota 12th. Kendall Paul 13th. Joshua Andrews 14th. Hodgkins 15th. And some of these names I'm saying right here, and we could talk about it here as I got to queue up some replays, so you're going to have to fill in some time for me. These guys, it doesn't look like it where they finish, but those finishes kind of betraying some of the performances these drivers had. They really had good days. They just missed that yellow at the right time during that green flag pit stops.
Yeah, and that really, we really saw that with Sam Crow, Ryan O'Donohue. Ryan O'Donohue, he was fast early on and kind of fell back in that early in stage number 3 as I see Matt Wagner's comment. I think I heard the LGN driver of their pace, but a lot of drivers, they split the strategy, and they, we talked about when that caution was going to come out. We talked about if that caution does come out, well, if you already pitted, well, you're SOL. So, It really showed there with Sam Crow, Paul Witt, Matt Wagner, and Ryan O'Donohue taking those 4 fresh set of tires at the end, and how fast they were at towards the end of the stage. And but Julian Valdez was able to hold on for the win here despite hitting before that caution came out.
David Dunwoody 16th, Teddy C 17th, Jeremy Dunwoody 18th, John Songer round out your top 20. Then we got Sharp Meadows, Mueller, Sweeting, Dunlap, Bassestrand, and Seaman rounding out the remainder of this 27 truck field. And yes, I think Matt Wagner might be, and if you don't watch our IndyCar coverage, we have Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who's normally my partner for a lot of our IndyCar races. We have his Luis Gonzalez Nunez, LGN's driver of the race. And normally it goes to the highest finishing driver that improves the most spots. And in this case, it really is Wagner. He finishes 17 spots better than where he started. He started 23rd and comes home in 6th. So a good day for Matty Wags. I know him as an IndyCar driver, but you don't have all that downforce. A lot of throttle control, a lot of hand control. He brings that truck home in 6th spot after starting way in the back of this race. And while I queue up some of these replays, any other thoughts you have here, how this race shook out tonight here? You're familiar, a lot more familiar with this group than I am, so what are your thoughts here on who did what and who did well, and maybe some of these people, what we're talking about when we get into the interview room, what do you think the message is going to be?
I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, there was a split strategy with the race at the end there. We saw a lot of drivers, up towards the front that we usually don't see up towards the front. Paul Witt, Alan Segerwald, Matt Wagner being some of the few. And then a lot of the drivers that we usually see do very, very well. David Dunwoody, Logan Edwards, and while Logan Edwards still getting a top 10 finish, and Ryan O'Donohue still getting a top 10 finish. A little bit further towards the back, but it's still the same old story for our winner. Julian Valdez gained a 3rd win of the season, so we'll have to see with the interviews with Sam Crow, Alan Segerwald, and Julian Valdez, kind of like how that strategy at the end kind of evolved there and what their mindset was going into on how they were going to play it.
All right, let's go ahead and start to bring it in these interviews. We'll cue out the music. And head to the interview room and see who would like to talk. I would imagine everybody is pretty eager to talk. Let's get in here. And also, not a bad race. The limited number of cautions. I mean, these races here at the Rock can go any number of ways. A lot of cautions or not. And they did a very good job at keeping it off one another. Let's bring in Alan. here into the booth. Alan Steigerwald joining us in the booth. P3, but he's going to pick up the Ninja moniker because he literally came out of nowhere in the second half of, actually in the late stage of this race, to come home in third. Talk about the strategy to get yourself in a position, because sometimes in these races, it's not, well, we've seen it tonight, it's not where you start, it's not where you are in the middle, it's where you end up, and you got yourself in a position that you could race to at least get to the bottom step of the podium. Talk about your race.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like so shaky right now. This is the best finish in any sort of league race I've been in. But man, I did not have a lot of confidence, especially in practice. I mean, I expected to be middle of the pack most of the race. You know, I don't really see myself as very good, but you know, just after stage 1 went through and I figured out I burned up my tires pretty well. Tried to back down my pace, take it easy, figure out the truck, and I mean, at the end there, just right strategy call. My teammates there over at M3S Motorsports with Nathan Paliwoda and Matt Sisler, we were like chatting, and they're like, we're gonna come down. I just was like, you know what, nothing to lose, just gonna stay out. I got lucky enough with a caution.
All right, Caleb, we got any questions for him?
I mean, just in, you know, first, the best result you've had here in the AMA Truck Series, and you come away with a third place result. It just absolutely incredible from your part. I guess, what were you originally going to stay out throughout that entire Thursday, or were you eventually going to come in towards the very end there?
I was thinking about paying within like the 5 laps before like the caution came out. I was like right on the verge of pitting, and I'm so very glad I did not pit, because it got me out there, not a lap down, and restarted 8th. Just picked my way through to get this third place.
Well, congratulations on the P3. And now you're going into, a part of the season that we're going to start with the short tracks here, or the shorter tracks, where we go to Bristol next. A lot of momentum going in those tracks, getting a podium going into that portion of the season. It's got to feel pretty good. Any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone to say hi to getting on this podium? We could tell you're pretty excited, so go ahead and let them rip.
Just got to say thank you to Matt Sisler for getting me just started with M3S Motorsports and just all the league racing that he has me doing with them. Very appreciative. Shout out to my other teammate Nathan Paliwoda. Pretty sure my mom and dad are awake from me screaming after I get third. So
keep it down in there.
Yeah, basically what they told me. Shout out to my little brother David. He's watching there in the room. I hear it. So yeah, just thank you very much for letting me race in this league and having a blast.
Well, call him Ghost Rider, call him Ninja, call him whatever you want, but call him P3 today on the bottom step of the podium here at the Outland Custom Arms 200 at the Rock. Up 13 spots, and a good strategy of just staying out. Right call gets him to track position with the fresh tires, races his way to P3 and his best finish of the season here in the Archway Industrial Truck Series. Congratulations. We'll see you in a week when we head to the short track at Bristol.
Thank you.
And yeah, you could tell that he is definitely excited, but there's also a little bit of, how did I get there? And I've been there before, and I'm like, how did I get there? But you know what? You keep making the right call, and the track position is everything. And once again, he gained all that track position just by kind of staying out longer than everyone else on that last run, and that again pays dividends late in the race.
Yeah, it does. I could honestly very much relate to that, to where you kind of wake some people up due to a very good iRacing result. A certain Indianapolis win over Jesper and Seb kind of rings to mind.
You got a bump and run on that one, though.
Oh, it said my parents. It was my neighbors. My neighbors were not too happy with me.
And this is, I'm not sure if the points have been updated yet. Let me double check. Yes, they have. So I will update everybody on career statistics here real quick, but I will bring in, here he is, the broadcast messiah, Sam Crow. It's been a while since I've talked to you. And for the race, last race I worked with, I actually worked with you. Now this next race I work with, I get to work with Caleb, but you come him on the podium, and darn it, if it wasn't just the way the cards were played there at the end, if the racing at the front allowed you to get by, shoulda, woulda, coulda, it might have been your second win of the week in the AMA, but a P2 adding to a P1 early in the week, not a bad week, my friend. Congratulations on the win, and a lot of tire management going on in this one.
Oh, thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, just things seem to fall into place as far as tire management. I just really just showed up tonight just to run with my friends and just have a good time, and just kind of admired myself somewhere around the top 10, and just enjoyed racing with guys like James Hodgson and several others. Those guys back there, we were having Matt Sisler and several others. We were having some good racing, and I was having a lot of fun. And then once the pit cycle started, I just told myself, I'll just run it dry and see, if the caution doesn't come out, I'll be out of the way. But it just happened to come out at a convenient time, so it just worked out.
Go ahead, Caleb.
Well, you had a couple good results here at Rockingham. It seems like you chose the right strategy for both in terms of when to go. And last night it was when you went, and this time it was how long you stayed out. I guess Rockingham's kind of played a little bit of a favor to you, hasn't it?
Well, it's home cooking for me. I love North Carolina tracks, and North Wilkesboro, Rockingham, Concord, Hickory, Tri-County. There's just some great racetracks in the state of North Carolina, and great racing here in North Carolina. And so it's just home cooking for me. I've always for 20 something years, I've been doing this. And so I've always enjoyed Rockingham and the challenge that it presents. And it's a lot of fun for me here. It really is. And so it's always good that it's always great to have a podium, because I know they're so few and far between for me anymore. But especially gratifying when I can do so well at the track that my great friend John Van Varelis, he loved this place. He really did love this place.
You are such a sandbagger, Sam. I swear to God, you're going to get more podiums. I know you are, and that's just how you are. But you are super modest. But we're going to give you a chance to shout out all those sponsors and friends and family, and everyone that makes it possible for you. Getting a P3 here today, a P2 here today. I almost took a position away from it. Getting a P2 after a win, and has the modesty to say, I have few of these left in my career. We know you're lying, Sam. So anyways, use that modesty and shout them out. Give us those all those loved ones and sponsors the shout outs they deserve.
Well, there's quite a few to be shared. First of all, before I give the most relevant ones, I do want to say I was sorry that I really did not get a chance to mention Outland Custom Arms last night and their sponsorship of the AMA O'Reilly Series, and so I really wanted to make sure that I got that out tonight. I know that Archway Industrial Coatings sponsors this particular series, and I was going to really mention them as well. But both of these sponsors are tremendous sponsors, and Randy Dunlap and others that just give so that we can be competitive in this great league. I am so appreciative of them as sponsors, and they really are good sponsors. So I'm very grateful for them. As always, we're really pushing the loud pedal this year for John Van Varelis. We've lost our friend back in November, and so this year has been dedicated to him. And Charles, I told Charles, don't expect anything tonight. I'm just field feeling. And then he texted me after the race, and he says, "Yeah, some field feeling." And so, but. Anyway, Charles, we love you, and we're thinking about you. And I know you watch all these races very religiously, and so we're certainly glad that you're tuning in. I don't have them on the card tonight, but Black Acid Racing Apparel is a great sponsor for me, and they do a great job with all your racing apparel needs. Screen printing, and so even creating your designs, and so they do a lot for the racing industry here in North Carolina. And so Black Acid Racing Apparel, I do appreciate my DVD teammates just coming down to the wire there, racing with Ryan. I was really hoping that Ryan was going to get that win tonight, and just things that were playing out up front just weren't working in that regard. And so I hate it for Ryan because he struggled some tonight. And so I want to give a shout out to him. He's had a lot on his mind, a lot going on. And so he and Lewis of course got caught in that late race caution. They had their troubles, and I'm sure that I'll have mine sometime somewhere. But I really appreciate those guys being in my ear, and we're always trying to encourage each other. So I do want to say something about DVD Motorsports, and then by all means, P1 Broadcasting, you, Mark, and Caleb, you guys do a fantastic job, and I really appreciate you guys and what you bring to the table. And Mark, you've become a great friend, and I'm very grateful for the friendship that I've gotten over the last year working with you and getting to know you better.
And he's on vacation, so he hasn't been a great friend to me.
I'm sorry, it's Gary. I'm sorry, Gary.
He's making me work. He's making me work on a Friday night.
I was thinking, man, why is Mark talking so loud?
Oh.
Well, no, wait a minute. The difference between me and Mark is I'm loud and Mark just keeps talking.
Yes, many stories. There's a lot of stories.
I just had Mark in my head, and so, but you were the one that hired me for P1, so I appreciate you, Gary. I really do, and I enjoyed my time with P1, and hopefully I'll be able to jump into the booth some, maybe off and on during the year. Congratulations to Julian. He did a great job on the tires, and just appreciate so much the racing that was going on tonight with some of the guys that I was racing with back in. We've got some incredible individuals in this league, and then we have others that will make you take a double take. So we're gonna.
All leagues are like that, but definitely commentator emeritus here on P1, Sam Crow, the broadcast messiah, now the racing messiah, finishes second here tonight. Congratulations. Go enjoy it. You're such a Penske sandbagger, I swear to God. And we will see you back on the podium again real soon. But Sam Crow finishes second here tonight. Congrats, buddy.
Appreciate you guys.
And let's talk about the points real quick, and then we will bring in Julian. Peyton Howell now leads the points, still 39 over Valdez. So remember, Peyton Howell coming into this race a 58-point lead. Now it's a 39-point lead. So the points battle gets a little bit tighter at the top. Logan Edwards is in third with 194, 10 points ahead of Matt Sisler. Ryan O'Donohue is in fifth. The remainder of the top 10 is Witt. Austin Hund, who I don't think was in tonight's lineup. Nathan Nicholson, not in tonight's lineup, is eighth. Sweeting also tied in eighth. And Sam Crow now creeps into the top 10 with his P2 here tonight. So maybe Sam Crow is in a running for the championship. It's still not too late. All you have to do is get into the playoffs, right? And then anybody can win. Or anybody has a shot. So we will see. But that is your points situation. Let's bring in Julian Valdez into the booth. Here he is, Julian Valdez, the winner here tonight. 3 for 3 in your appearances this season. 3 starts, 3 wins. Now, I don't think that's ever been accomplished in first time into a series, in real racing series. It obviously happened maybe in independent leagues in iRacing, but I can't think of a real world experience. I certainly know, like, Nigel Mansell won his first IndyCar start. Let's see, who else won their first start that I could think of
SVG.
on top. What's that?
SVG.
Was that his first start? That was his first start, so he won his first start. Buzz Calkins won his first start in the Indy Racing League. So there's a couple examples out there, but I can't think of anyone going 2 for 2 or even 3 for 3. But you're able to accomplish that, and today you kind of had the work for it because your teammate really had the pace and kind of controlled the first parts of this, the first 2/3 of this race. But in all cases, it looks like that you were able to manage your tires a little bit longer and have a little bit pace there at the end. And kind of in that last stint, you might want to thank your teammate and buy him a little bit of a steak dinner because he played rear gunner for you a little bit and allowed you to run away with this thing and get the win. Congratulations. Talk about that win in the race.
Thank you. Really just wished I would have kept that green. Getting into that lap car there kind of hurt both of us. It would have been a 1-2 finish for us, I feel like.
Yeah.
But kind of just happens, I guess. It's a product of Rockingham and being on fresh tires and moving faster than my brain can comprehend. But even on the restart, I feel like we just got a good restart and got away. And Peyton definitely did play a little bit of a role in playing track blocker for me there for a second and allowing me to get the gap I did, forcing the other guys to use up their tires. So I'm just grateful for everybody at UNRV Esports that allows this to happen and keeps me going every week.
Before I throw it over to Caleb for the for his question, and my follow up is: was that part of the plan at when your teammate wasn't on the same pace as you when it was Peyton? Did he make the call? Hey man, I'm going to play rear gunner for you here and allow you to get the win, or was that just did that go unspoken?
I think that was just Peyton being the points leader, not wanting to lose as many points to me. I think he was trying to stay as close as he could.
Sure.
But we didn't think the tire advantage would be that big, truthfully. But it turned out to be a lot bigger than I thought. So that's where a lot of that came from.
Go ahead, Caleb.
So you're sitting second in the championship, right behind Peyton Howe. Any chance you might consider going, trying to run out the rest of the season, fight for a championship?
Yeah, after missing Daytona and Charlotte, I'm definitely here for the long haul. We've got a lot of people that support this deal that want to see this succeed, so we're coming for Peyton now.
Well, this winning moment is brought to you by Rogue Energy. Rogue delivers clean energy and focus with no jitters and no crash, helping you to stay sharp when it matters most, especially when you win races in the late stages, just like Julian here today. When everything is on the line, focus makes the difference. Use the promo code AMA24 at rogueenergy.com for 10% off. The link is in the description. Julian, any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone you want to say hi to on your third win of the season in 3 races?
Range Pocket, Armory Sync, for all you firearm owners out there. It's definitely something that you guys should look into. I'm grateful they jumped on board for this deal, and hopefully we can get them some more wins to round out the season. UNRV Esports, Peyton, everybody that supports this deal, Scott Martin, Icon Apparel, and you guys for the broadcast, of course.
Julian Valdez, third win of the season, second now in points. We will see you in a week when we get to an even shorter track, when we go short track racing proper in Bristol.
Thank you. See you guys next week.
Caleb, any final thoughts here about the race? We kind of talked about it, that we might have a different winner at some point, and well, the more things change, the more they think to stay the same. We thought that maybe Peyton had a shot today. It is not the case, but he ended up he did play a role. He did play a little rear gunner to help his teammate there, but he also minimized damage by getting the best possible finish he can to minimize the jump in points that Julian actually gained on him in the championship. He does have a points lead, and a sizable points lead at that, but it's not as big as it was coming into this race. So we might have ourselves a championship battle as this season roars on through the remainder of this spring and into the summer, finally wrapping up later this season in November.
Yeah, it is. And, Julian Valdez, it sounds like he is going to finish out the rest of the season and compete for a championship. He was only going to do part-time, but now it seems like he's going to be here. He's going to be here for the long run, and we can finally see if he could put a Peyton Howe. He could give Peyton Howe a run for his money, because Peyton, even though Julian Valdez has won every single race he's been in, Peyton Howe, his teammate, still hasn't won, but he has basically been dominant in all these races. So we look at the championship battle, they kind of separated themselves from everybody else. Both of them finished ahead of Logan in the race here today. So they both gained points on him. So it's going to be probably a Peyton and Julian Valdez show for a good portion of this, but the race itself today was very, very exciting. It was very, very good. And it was good to see nice green flag, long green flag runs here, and a bit of strategy evolved in terms of how late drivers stayed out, and it played a huge factor for drivers like Sam Crow, Paul Way, and Matt Wagner. Drivers some of those drivers being, ones that we usually don't see up towards the front and getting very, very good results here tonight.
The trend I'm seeing here, and I want to get your reaction to this as well. This is the fourth season for the American Motorsports Association Truck Series. This is a season number 4, and normally after 4 seasons, you get the regulars, and they start just kind of racking up wins and racking up starts, and you break into some of these leagues, you join, and you're like, well, I'm up against guys with 25, 30, 40, 50 starts, and how well am I going to do? Today's race. And I want to shout this out at you and just get your impression. The most starts by the entire podium was 5. Alan Steigerwalt had 5 career starts in this series before getting his podium finish here today. Sam Crow only had 4, and Julian Valdez only has 3. Says a lot about parity, but it also says if I'm new and I have a good strategy and I have a good skill set, that I can join this league and I can be a part of a podium and a top 10 finish almost right away. And it just says a lot about this league if you could come in and do that, and you could do it very cleanly. And the level of these racers that we see here, 5 starts for Steigerwalt, 4 for Crow, 3 for Julian Valdez, and they are your podium here in a league that's 4 seasons old.
Yeah, that really just it kind of plays that way into the championship as well. Peyton Howe, he also is a rookie in the series. Julian Valdez, you just said, only has a few starts in this series as well. Logan Edwards, he's not really a Truck Series guy. He did do last season, but he is in that 3rd place spot. And then Matt Scissor has been around for quite a while now. So it really just goes to show, like, just because you're not a part of a league, even if you're a rookie, you can come in and do very, very well. It not only if you have the talent, but if you know the right strategies around and, what the right call is when it comes to all this sort of stuff. So it's good to see, new guys coming in every once in a while, but I guarantee you we'll start to see a lot of the old dogs like Sam Crow and Ryan Donahue make their way up towards the front. David Dunwoody as well. They really haven't had the greatest of luck early on in the season, but we still got a very long season to go here. So just because the first 5 races, it's been a Julian Valdez, Peyton Howe show, it doesn't mean it will be like that for the rest of the season.
If you like what you see and you want to be part of future races, make sure to check out their Discord server and be a part of it. All you need is the trucks and the track and the drive, and you too could be a part of the American Motorsports Association Archway Truck Series next race. And that next race is coming up here in a couple weeks. But that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium here from The Rock. Julian Valdez. That's twice I've done that. 3 times I've probably done that. It's Julian Valdez, your winner in the 21. Sam Crow comes home in 2nd. A great week for him. A winner in the Grand National Series. 2nd place here in the Truck Series. And Alan Steigerwalt with the maximum stealth victory, I guess. I mean, he proves 13 spots, and he comes home in 3rd. And talk about stealth and ninja. Ghost Rider indeed. There he is. That is your top 3 here tonight. Join us again next week for round 6. The 2026 campaigns. The teams and drivers head to Bristol Motor Speedway for their first short track race of the year for the Rogue Energy 250. Coverage begins around 8:20 Eastern Time, and that is 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, as always, to the correct time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm in the game's not an easy one, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so to miss out on more of P1's Outlander iRacing programming, including our Monday night open wheel doubleheader. Race 1 starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. Monday night top split, they'll be at Miami. And race 2 will 10 p.m. Eastern Time with the Indy Next Road Series. They will be at Galgave. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Tonight's 2nd running of the Rockingham 200, sponsored by Outland Custom Arms. At Outland Custom Arms, precision is the foundation, delivering custom crafted components and advanced coatings built for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of perfection. Outland Custom Arms, built for precision, ready to perform. The American Motorsports Association Truck Series is proudly sponsored by Archway Industrial Coatings. For years, Archway has been delivering epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that stand the test of time, all while meeting installation schedules, budgets without compromise. Committed to high-quality work at competitive cost, Archway provides industrial, commercial, and retail flooring along with concrete repair solutions that you can rely on. When it needs to be done right and done on time, Archway gets the job done. Archway Industrial Coatings. Get ready to floor it. Once again, thank you to all the AMA key partners, SimShop, AdminBox, Track Racing, Blackmagic Studios, and Rogue Energy for their support this season. To learn more about these key partners and to do what you can do to support them, please visit their links in the description. For business inquiries, to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook. You can follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. Check them out in the description. So for the Bass Brothers, Murph and Caleb, everyone at Archway, Outland, and the AMA, and all our partners, and here at P1, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all good night, and thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military, especially those in the Middle East, and our Artemis II crew headed to the moon, and all first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Catch us again next week at Bristol for the next race of the American Motorsports Archway Industrial Truck Series right here on P1. Good night, and happy Easter.